and a warm welcome back, art fans, to this video. You saw me in my last video paint the painting of the White Cliffs of Dover. Well, it's time to mount that painting to some canvas bars. So here I'm just slotting the canvas bars together. They got some pre-cut slots and they just simply slot together just like that. You might need a bit of a hammer just to knock them in place. And once you've done that, you've got to square everything up. So measure each corner to make sure it's square. And then I laid the painting over the top of the canvas bars just to sort of check it fits. Then it's time to lay the painting face down. And this is where you want to bend the edges of the canvas up just to make sure they're wrapping around the entire canvas bars. This one was a little bit tight, but I just had enough painting just to wrap around those bars. Then it's time to staple, and I tend to staple each side first, then spin the whole thing round. Pull some tension in the canvas and then staple again, then spin it round 180 degrees. And again, really pull that tension out of the canvas and staple that down. Then it's a double check just to make sure everything's square and aligned, then spin the whole thing back over, and with some quick editing, just like that, I'm stapling away the canvas to the canvas bars. I tend to alternate each side as I go, and I'm just working my way out into the corners. The corners are a little bit fiddly, so I'll try to explain this. Probably better with this angle. I tuck and crease the canvas right into the corner and create a fold, and it's a case of making sure that that crease fold sits all the way into the corner. I tend to have that fold mark on the top edge of a painting and also on the bottom edge of the painting so you don't see it. Just while I have your attention, don't forget to visit flowworks.uk and sign up for my newsletter. You'll get updates on my latest art projects, behind the scenes insights and exclusive news. And also don't forget, it's completely free to subscribe to my channel to be updated with my latest videos. Right, back to the painting. When you purchase your canvas bars online, you get these wooden inserts, and they are there to place into each corner. And when you tap them in, it tensions up the canvas. And try and work in each opposite corner when you do that. And there's the finished canvas on the wall. And the next stage is for me to actually sign this. I start by signing with a pencil first. And I tend to sign my paintings once they're stretched onto a canvas so you can get the exact position that you want your signature. And then a little tip, I go over the top of that pencil line with a barbecue skewer, just with some black ink. It's a little bit fiddly, but I do find a brush a lot harder to control the paint. And that's the finished painting on the wall. I really love it when you do finish a painting and stretch it onto the canvas bars. You can sort of see the sides. I really love that. Next up, we're going to varnish the painting. So it's time to take it off the wall, and I'm using satin varnish. And I've just poured that directly onto the painting, and then with a brush, I'm just trying to evenly go over the painting just to cover the entire painting with the varnish. Don't be alarmed, it's a little bit milky when you first apply your varnish, but it does dry completely clear. But don't forget, you've also got to varnish the side, so I'm just pouring some varnish on the side of the paintbrush and then just going around and painting all those sides. Right, it's the following morning, so time for the blinds to come up and time to cut some timber to create a frame for this painting. So all I'm using is pine timber. I think it was 50mm by 25mm, and I'm going to be mounting that on a pre-cut sheet of MDF. I actually got my local timber merchant to cut that to shape. It's time to mark up the frame, so I'm just marking up each corner. Then once I've got one size, I can then cut 4 pieces, all the same size, as you can see here, where I'm just laying it out around the frame. These are the items you're going to need next, which is going to be links in the description, which is some Gorilla Glue and a band clamp, which the band clamp allows you to wrap around the frame and put tension onto the frame to make it nice and square. Here I'm marking up on the inside of the frame where I want the Gorilla Glue to attach to the actual MDF itself, so just go all the way around the entire frame, and that will just give you a mark where you just need to apply your wood glue to. And as you can see, I've got the same issue that everybody else has, is when your glue bottle just clogs up, so I'm just having to unclog it. And because that took so long, my camera battery died, but I applied glue all the way around the edges, and then I'm just using the band clamp just to clamp in those corners and create that frame nice and square. And just one little tip, when you're clamping this up, you'll see some glue spread out. It's quite a good time at this point to grab some cardboard and just go around and try and clean out some of that glue. Then once everything's set, this was the next day, it was time just to go in and sandpaper down those glue marks. Right, this was a mistake I made. I bought some wood dye, which was American walnut, and this is me applying it to the entire frame. And when I was putting it on, I was thinking this is a little bit too dark. And the trouble with the dye as well, it really builds up in in certain areas. You don't really get like an even colour across the whole thing. It's not really uniform, so to me it just looks like something that's been dyed. So I didn't like that at all, and as you can see it in the background, it looks absolutely awful. So it was time to put out some acrylic primer, just go over the top of that wood dye. So I'm going for the modern clean look, so I also got some satin pure brilliant white paint. This is a water-based paint as well. I don't really recommend using an oil finish for your frames. It's a lot easier to work with a water-based paint. And then I just applied, I think in the end I'd done about 3 coats of this, and after each coat I sanded it down so you can create a lot more of a smoother finish to your frame. You'll also notice on this camera angle, I'm not having to paint the entire middle section because that's where the painting's going to go. You're only going to see a small gap either side and top and bottom of the painting, so you just need to do really a brush width inside. I then need to mount the painting inside the frame, so I'm measuring the canvas bar thickness because I need to drill some holes in the back of the board to go through into the back of the canvas frame, if that makes sense. So I'll apply that measurement and come in a few mil on the back of the actual frame itself, and then mark that position and just go around and put some drill holes in. So they're going to have screws that are going to screw through the back and into the back of the canvas. Then I place the painting into the shadow frame box, and I really like this because the painting does sit out just a few millimetres from the frame, so you can actually see a slight edge to the painting as well, which I really do like. Then once you're happy with the spacing left, right, top and bottom of that position for the picture to sit in the frame, you've then got to screw in from the bottom going into the back of the painting itself. So a little tip was to work one corner, then go to the other side and work the other corner, then that way you know that the painting's not going to move. So a quick eye squint down those lines just to make sure it's all square. And then you can go all the way around and send in all your other screws. And that's the painting inside the frame. I then apply some art gallery tape, which it's like a brown tape, but it's really tacky and sticky. And this just covers up those screw marks and some of the glue marks on the back. Just gives a really nice finish to the back of the painting. I'll also leave some Amazon affiliate links in the description below where you can get this tape, along with all the other items from this video. This is a really nice touch as well. I add some felt pads into each corner just to protect your walls when you're hanging painting. And that's this one completed in its new frame. I do like the white frame. I think it makes the painting look really fresh, clean and modern because it's a thin frame as well. I do want to do an oak frame at some point, because I do think that they look really nice, just like a light oak, which be fantastic as well. This painting with the frame is actually sold already, so that's why I needed to do a frame. But you can go to the website and grab some limited edition prints. I think there's a few left of this. I just wanted to share something with you in the studio. You saw me make this custom piece of furniture down below, but got two pieces of art that I'd done a while back on my channel. And I just wanted to show you, got some special gallery lights that sit above them. These are really good. They're not expensive. They were from Amazon. And the good thing about them, come with a little remote control. You can just turn them on. And you can set your colour temperature. So at the minute I've got these on like a warm white, just to sort of really bring those paintings to light. I always think it's important to light your paintings because there's so much detail that you put into them. It's good to see them under the right lighting conditions. At the minute I've got some studio lights set up so they don't look that bright. But the good thing about these lights, I'll just quickly show you. There's no cables whatsoever and they're just USB charged. So you just charge them up and then hang them up. They last for absolutely ages. The good thing about the remote is you can set a timer on there, so you can turn them on, put them on for like 15 minutes to 120 minutes, push it, forget about it, and they turn themselves off. And then they just magnetically attach to the top, and they come with some brackets that just screw into your wall. That is the only thing about the brackets. You do see the screws behind the brackets, so use a black screw to match the black frame. Oh, one last thing, you can alter the dimness on them as well, so you can dim them right down or have them as bright as you want. So I think there's one final thing to do, and that is to put this new painting with its frame in place of this one to see what it looks like under the studio light. And what I'll do is I'll turn the studio lights off when I film it to give you a more realistic overall view of how it looks under these lights as well. That is one good tip when you do build your own frames. Adding these felt pads on the back really do help protect the wall. So all I've got to do now is line up my hole with my bracket. Right, this is really embarrassing. This is me trying to hang the painting on the wall, and I'm so glad I did those felt pads, because the amount of times I put it up there to try and locate that hole on the back of the painting was absolutely impossible. So a little bit of a scratchy head moment and think, right, what's going wrong? So here I am trying to hang the painting, and at that point it was time to turn the camera off and really try and figure out what was going on. Well, that didn't really go to plan. The painting that I took down was a lot bigger, which meant the mounting position for this smaller piece couldn't quite hit the location of the hook that's on the wall because it was crashing into the light above. So I had to take all the light off, put it on, and then put the light back on top. So you wouldn't really have the light as close to the top of the painting as that, so you'd leave a couple of inches gap. But this will just sort of give you an idea. Just before I turn it on, if you'd like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you're into art as well. That would be much appreciated. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.